So hello, I'm Leonore and I will be speaking about taxonomy. So do you know what the cat and the leopard have in common? So they both have protractable claws which make them belong to the family of the Felidae. So this kind of classification based on the shared properties of objects is called a taxonomy. And so now you can wonder, but how does it apply to Open Food Facts and how can we use them for the project? So in Open Food Facts we have various taxonomies, such as a taxonomy for food products, also called category on the GitHub, taxonomy for ingredient, for packaging, or for label. So for the taxonomy of food products, the way we'll build it is by finding a common feature of products. So for example, the nocciolata and the Nutella, they both have hazelnuts and cocoa. So we create category cocoa and hazelnut spread to isolate them from other products. Okay. That's so weird. So we create a category cocoa and hazelnut spread to isolate them from other spreads, such as the raspberry jam. So here you can see the GitHub page. So all the categories are translated in many languages, and they have parent categories such as chocolate spread and hazelnut spread, and those are themselves into other categories, forming a huge tree containing all the possible food items. So the first purpose of this taxonomy is to compare products. Now that we have a category cocoa and hazelnut spread, we can compute a mean for all the value of this category and see that the nocciolata have less saturated fat and more protein than the average of the category. And it's also possible to compare categories between them and see, for example, this kind of biscuit have less sugar than another type of biscuit. So another feature allowed by the taxonomy of product is to compute the eco-score. So for that, we rely on the categories of the database Agribalis produced by Diadem. So we have linked our categories with the category of Diadem, and all of them have an environmental score. And then we add several parameters to this score to be able to differentiate between products of the same category. So one of these parameters is the presence of palm oil, which is a major factor of deforestation. And here you can see that the nocciolata don't have palm oil and has an eco-score of C, and Nutella, which has palm oil, has an eco-score of D. So this is the ingredient taxonomy, which looks pretty similar to the product taxonomy. But have a different purpose. So one of them is to compute the Nutri-Score. So as you may know, the Nutri-Score requires the amount of nuts, fruits and vegetables. So here we can see that this product contains hazelnut, and in the taxonomy of ingredients, hazelnut is classified as a nut. And so this ingredient will be taken into consideration to calculate the Nutri-Score of the product. So I haven't presented you all that is currently possible with the taxonomy, but I also wanted to speak a bit about what we could do in the future to give some idea, and we could also discuss about that later. So one of them would be, for example, to expand the comparison between products, for example, allowing to compare between categories between country, saying, for example, that a category of biscuits have more sugar in one country compared to another. And that kind of data would be super useful for research, for example. And another thing would be to improve the eco-score calculation by relying not only on the product taxonomy, but also in the ingredient taxonomy. So for that, we would need an environmental impact for each ingredient. And by knowing the proportion of those ingredients in a product, we could have a really accurate eco-score for each product. So that's all.